It's just a consumer of the world and all things that are good.
If we are purchasing clothes that are nylon, polyester, that is pure plastic.
He maumau pu te waihoki, he maumau rauemi, he kino, he patutera kia papatu anaku.
Fast fashion. It's everywhere and inescapable. Whether you're at glossy shopping destinations like this or impulse buying online, it's become an expectation. Seen it on the runway, want it and want it now. But it's got to be cheap because its shelf life in the wardrobe is going to be short-lived.
This one's from Shein. Yeah. It's super cute. It's really good for summer.
Ashley McEnroe is a mama, model, and shares content that encourages us to buy.
It's like this one here is from Pagani. I got this one on sale. It was on $15. And it might not be my size, but it's stretchy fabric, so I kind of make it work.
When you're shopping, what are you looking for?
More than anything, it's price.
And that's the ongoing thing. Cheap fashion versus the real cost.
52,000 tonnes of clothing goes to landfill in New Zealand every year.
Jacinta Fitzgerald is the Chief Executive of Mindful Fashion, a not-for-profit aiming to make Aotearoa fashion more sustainable.
It's a huge amount that can be broken down to a giant pile, taller than me, 500 kilos every 5 minutes. So it's a huge amount. It's really difficult to comprehend.
It sure is. The numbers are mind-boggling. 10% of global carbon emissions, according to Mindful Fashion. And try this for size. Every time I put my microfiber clothes into the wash, I'm adding to the estimated 500,000 tonnes of microfibers leaching into our oceans every year. That's the equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles.
These items of clothing that are going to our landfill are made of polyester. They're shedding microfibers because they're often poor quality. You know, microfibers are in our brains, they're in our bodies. We don't know the degree of harm that they're doing, but we know they're doing harm.
And yet the machine keeps rolling on. Shein is now the ultra fast fashion leader, even putting Zara and H&M to shame. Over 200 million app downloads globally and about 6,000 new garments daily. I'm taking a couple of my own typical wardrobe items to Kitty Nathan to inspect.
It's 100% polyester and 100% polyester lining. So this little sucker, it will never break down.
Leading designer Kitty Nathan is among those ringing the alarm bells.
Most of the time, these sorts of things go straight to landfill. The effect of fast fashion on Te Ao is emptying oceans, and whether it's happening on the other side of the world, it's still going to affect Aotearoa. It's the carbon footprint that's left from these distribution routes that are so fast moving that the only focus is on capitalism, like the only focus is on making money.
And I'm part of the problem, not just for the environment, but also for the people who make them.
If you were to go to Bangladesh, which is the hellhole of manufacture in the world, you will see that the systems that are in play will be non-Indigenous ownership, non-Indigenous management of Indigenous people that are working insane hours for not enough money to even pay half of their living costs. This is a terrible word to use, but like a form of slavery.
And of course, China. All of the stuff you can buy on Shein is manufactured there. There have been high-profile investigations into the human cost and how workers are paid.
It depends how difficult the item is. Something simple like a t-shirt is 1 to 2 yuan per piece, and I can make around a dozen in an hour. We earn so little. How is that enough? The cost of living is now so high.
But that's out of sight, out of mind for consumers and influencers. When garments are that cheap, they're worth the punt.
It's super hit and miss. You get like it's almost something that you accept. Like it's widely understood they're not going to be like beautifully made pieces, But like this set I'm wearing here, it's comfortable. I have 2 kids, I'm running around, I'm like squatting down, bending down, like I'm still breastfeeding. It needs to be purpose-built, it needs to survive, but it also like can't cost me the same amount. Like this outfit from like a more sustainable brand could easily be the cost of my entire week's groceries.
Result, we have lots of this. The Red Vale landfill in Auckland. 70 trucks of clothing waste are dumped here each week. Most of it non-biodegradable and releasing harmful gases, according to Mindful Fashion.
It's important for all people to understand their responsibility. And for us as Māori, I think we're more aware of our responsibilities to the whenua and to Te Ao, and therefore it's fundamentally our responsibility to take care of her and ensure that she's going to be okay for our moko generations.
And as for workforce exploitation, she says it's happening much closer to home.
A couple of years back, we travelled to Fiji to do Fiji Fashion Week, and one of the local indigenous designers, Temesia, who actually showed at New Zealand Fashion Week as part of Kahui Collective this year, took us around, and there was a huge swimwear brand that was up there, and the machinists were getting paid $2.30 an hour. This is like a few hours flight away from here. $2.30 an hour, and they were just about to go on strike to try and get $2.50 an hour. I felt just really ignorant.
Hundreds are dead, hundreds more might still be buried alive after officials in Bangladesh say factory owners ignored an order to evacuate.
The Rana Plaza factory, Bangladesh 2013. 1,100 killed, 2,500 injured in the worst recorded industrial incident to hit the garment industry. The building was literally shaken apart by machinery. Before it happened, workers raised their concerns, but were told they'll lose their jobs if they didn't continue work there.
Everybody knew about that and did nothing. That building collapsed and so many people died. And the other really troubling thing about that entire incident is that I don't know how much has changed. I don't know, 5% of the world population knowing that it happened. I don't know, it makes me feel sick.
After the break, choosing principle over price for Kiwi consumers. What will it take? That's next. Here in Aotearoa, we buy 14.3 kilograms of clothing per person per year, which is 3 times more than we did 20 years ago, while wearing them half as long.
You guys wanted a haul? I'm here to please.
Ashley unveiling her latest hauls from Shein, and her followers are quick to respond. What was the feedback from that?
It was a really positive response. I had a lot of people asking for links for the pieces. I had people it was actually a very positive response because my community specifically that have access to similar things to me and probably most likely can only really afford the same things that I can.
But there's been blowback too.
I think maybe 1 or 2 messages that were like, oh, that's a little disappointing that, you would be shopping from brands like that. I thought you were more eco-friendly or more sustainable or more this and more that. And honestly, valid.
The affordable alternative for shoppers is circular shopping or thrift shopping from the likes of Natua Car Morgan.
No here o kakahu. Kōti nei, no Savemart, Kenulan, no reira. Tōna whitu te kautara. Oh, te itu. He tino pai ki au te mahi hoko hoko. tuatahi ake, ne, me hara tēnei I te whairaua. He wahine haere au ki te mahi, waihoki he kaiakoa hau, e noho ana ki te taone nui, ki te pito o te taone nei, he whānau tōku, nō reira, he mea nui ki au kia pina pūtea.
But the reality is that most pieces donated to thrift shops can't even be sold, like this Raglan store that's banned garments from Shein.
Can't sell the volumes that they're given, and I've heard that it's around about 80% of what is donated they are unable to sell because of poor quality, poor design, you know, rubbish fabrics, and so they're having to pay to send to landfill. One charity shop this year in the first 4 months of the year spent $250,000. So one chain of charity shops on sending their product to landfill, the donations.
Kia una he pauri rawa tērā. Kai te haere tonu e te hi kākau nā te me he koretake. Nei te doinga he kirihoi, plastic, microplastic ka rānei ki roto, kāre paina ki te kiri. O reira, he tani whanui tēnā, te capitalism.
And not just that, local fashion is now facing some of its toughest times. Even a name designer like Kitty Nathan is barely surviving.
Because we're really screwed at the moment. Things are worse than they've ever been. And I hear that across the board from manufacturers. It's harder now than it's ever been. And many of them have been in business for 20 to 25 years.
Major brands moved production to Asia decades ago to cut costs. The attraction was obvious.
It's 7 times plus cheaper to do it offshore. In some cases, it's way more than that. It's like 25 times cheaper. So fabric that I might purchase here for $22 a metre, I could get over there for $6. Yeah, I think people have always sort of said, oh, your clothes are so expensive. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible, but it costs us so much to honour this commitment of being New Zealand made.
Kitty is part of the ethically driven Kāhui Collective, a group of Māori designers committed to using fabrics made here into recycling.
And I think more work needs to be done to really emphasise that we have choice. So we have choice of the fabrics that we choose to purchase. We have choice around the manufacturing options. And each of those choices has a huge impact on Te Ao Māori, on how we represent Te Ao Māori in this particular industry.
Our period-proof underwear is another Māori-owned brand leading the way.
We have 3 different types of materials that we use with our period care. The first is an organic cotton, the second is our Aotearoa range, which is a recycled beach pulp, and the third is a recycled nylon. So we're not using any fresh nylons or plastics in our period underwear.
What makes them so different to what fast fashion products are?
Yeah, so if you go to, the supermarket or some stores to get some really cheap period-proof underwear, the difference is a lot of them are made not sustainably at all, not ethically. So you're investing in durability when you shop sustainably. You're investing in longevity. You're investing in workers. You're investing in the farms. It's just a much better choice.
Fashion remains a big business in New Zealand, contributing some $8 billion to the economy. Mindful Fashion met with the Minister for Trade and Investment this month to consider ideas to help build the industry, like increasing jobs for skilled workers, more use of local materials in manufacture, recycling, and addressing textile pollution.
We need to understand what the impact would be, for example, of instigating a fast fashion bill. That needs to be looked into. That might not be the answer for New Zealand. I think the really important thing is to have these conversations at a policy level so that we can start to understand what are the implications and what is going to work best for us in New Zealand.
There's a huge responsibility on the makers to educate themselves on what sustainable is and what sustainable is to them.
Do you think it's the responsibility of the consumer or the brand, or even politically,
Yeah.
who's responsible to make the change?
Everyone. Everyone's responsible for change. Any brand that is made sustainably and ethically is always more expensive. So only certain people can afford to buy those clothes. It is grossly unfair for society to judge or ridicule people who cannot afford choice. If you are in a position where you can afford to have choice, please make the right decision, please do the right thing.
Fast, cheap fashion is a worldwide addiction that isn't going to disappear anytime soon. For now, the likes of Shein, Temu seem unstoppable, and you can understand why. Influencers like Ashley are making that loud and clear. So, what hope then for changes to how and what we buy? Kitty Nathan remains hopeful.
I'm an extremely optimistic person. I will always be, glass half full rather than glass half empty. So I'm always hopeful for better practice and better spaces and just better futures. However, what it would take to move into a more sustainable fashion industry overall for New Zealand is a continued shift in mindset, a continued shift in commitment to sustainable practice,